Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Thursday. It is the Three Amigos. It is time for my ab exercise. I hope it is yours as well. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing awesome. I thought I would come back all well rested. Like I got my first massage in like 10 months.
Oh my goodness.
And then like you give me the list of things you want to talk about today. Now I'm all pissed off.
You just have to go back. It didn't work. I need another one.
It's going to get expensive.
It's going to get expensive. Dion, how are you?
Howdy, I'm doing great. I think we needed a censor button for Matt before we hit record today.
Yeah, I don't edit videos, so we're gonna have a hefty fine if he drops a couple of colorful letters. So I don't know what you guys are seeing, but in the last 24 hours since the Fed made their move, I've seen no less than a dozen, and I might be approaching 20 comments, basically saying something to the effect of, "Get ready. We're either in right now, or heading to a depression, a Great Depression 2.0. Again, my crystal ball is as broken as everyone. So one of the first things I thought we should do is we should bring up the definition of a depression, because as an econ grad, there is a basic definition, which again, people throw these words around and I don't really think they know what they're talking about. So guys, the first thing I want to do is bring up a common definition. And then I want to talk about what you guys think. You cool with that?
Yep.
Actually, you know what? Let's get their reaction first. This ought to be, we're going to go to Dion first. That way this can let Matt fester, like vibrate with his venom. So Dion, you run a business, you have a nonprofit, you're a real estate investor, you're traveling, you're enjoying life. If I were to tell you that we are in a depression right now, or heading into a depression this year, what would you say to that?
A really smart guy that I watch on YouTube one time told everybody, a recession is when your neighbor is laid off, and a depression is when you get laid off. Which brings me back to whether we're in a recession or a depression. My biggest fear is for those people who rely on one source of income, just a W-2 job. And if you're not diversifying your sources of income, which could be, even if you just have your W-2 job, what skill sets do you have that can land a job that would pay something that would cover your cost of living expenses if your source of income went away? When I got into law enforcement for 8 years, I kept my CDL in my back pocket because I knew someday I could get sued, I could get injured, or 2008 can happen and a bunch of cops lose their jobs. And I went to driving a truck and doubled my income.
Yeah. You doubled your income driving a truck versus putting your life on the line as a police officer. Exactly. That's an interesting, I would not have guessed that, honestly, but what do I know? Never done either. All right, there you go. All right, Mr. Lumberjack. Great Depression 2.0 has already started. It is in front of us. Yeah, dude, 3.6% unemployment. It's got to be here. Depression time.
If you think that, you got your head firmly up your ass. There's, even with the recession, all right, professional snowflake melter appearance. Because this is just absurd. You don't get 3.6 unemployment. You have one down quarter in GDP. Maybe we're flat. Maybe we're slightly up. Hey, maybe we're even in recession. We've been adding almost 500,000 jobs a month for how long? Listen, I am not a big fan of Zandy, who works for Moody's, because he couldn't have been more wrong about the real estate crash. But one thing is accurate, which is his definition of things.
Yes.
And when you have 300, 400, 500,000 new jobs in a month consistently, even if GDP is negative, that's still not a recession. That's still not a recession. So while it might be coming, so are a lot of things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the end of the world is near. Well, if you listen to guys in 1775, you kind of wasted your life. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's our jobs to assess risk at every step. And when you assess risk, I hope a bunch of people are completely bent on this, and they go hide in their closets and they become a non-productive part of society from a real estate investment perspective that only makes my job easier. And then they're the same ones that are complaining that I'm 10 times wealthier after the crash than they are.
Yeah.
Figure it out. If you're getting the same results, you need to be doing something differently. And so I don't believe that this is Great Recession 2.0. I do believe that recessions don't feel good. And that's foreign to people because anybody that's been in business or been working or graduated, maybe they started their degree in 07 as an example, and maybe they graduated in 2011 and they got their first job in 2012. They've been working in the workforce for 10 years and they have no clue what flat or slow down or, they don't know what any of that stuff looks like. They don't understand the life definition of it because they haven't lived it.
Yeah. You're so right about that. A lot of the people that are responding and making these comments, they probably have been investing or really working for less than 10 years. And if your experience is the last 10 years, the funds rate is at 1.5 and the world is coming to an end. It's kind of funny. And again, as we'll see in video too, I think there's some bad stuff coming, but a depression, let's bring up the definition just so we can see at least what the technical definition is. So let me just share.
Okay. While you're looking that up, I have a thought, and I don't often have thoughts
Please.
this high above my level of thinking. But a lot of people are assuming we're going to have a depression because interest rates are going up and there's a lot of companies with adjustable rate loans that are then going to have to lay off or go into problems. And that can be an issue. But one thing that's different this time than at any other point in time is all the PPP loans that went out are at extremely low interest rates. And we had helicopter money coming for the last 2 years to employers to grow companies to where we don't have the problem that we would normally have with companies that have been borrowing money at low interest rates with regular loans, who are then going to have to compensate for a big rate hike like what we're seeing now.
Yeah. So this is the best visualization. A lot of the depression definitions I found were wordy and would probably confuse more people. So that's why I chose this one. An economic depression is a severe and long-lasting economic downturn. Okay, so what does that all mean? 3+ years of GDP contraction. That is 12 quarters of GDP contraction. We've had one. I do not believe we have two. Even if we did, that's two. That's a recession. So again, 12 quarters. Second, there's a two-step function. You need to see total loss of GDP of 10%. Let me just tell you this right now. If we were going to lose 10% of our GDP, unemployment would not be 3.6. It would not be 4.6. It would not be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.6. It might be 12, 13, 14, or 15%.
Yes.
So if we are going to talk about a depression, let's at least talk the same definition. So do either of you think we could have 12+ quarters of GDP decline? Matt?
It's not going to be 12+ months. Forget about 12 quarters.
Right.
Because here's the thing. You want the problem fixed real fast? Watch this. XL pipeline open in the next 8 months. Open up a bunch of leases for drilling. Show America's energy independence. I'm telling you, that's going to shift everything, because the thing that's forcing us into this depression is high energy costs and people and all the inflation around us, which 100% is on the shoulders of the officials that publicly serve us now, because they didn't accurately predict and understand, because they're a bunch of intellectuals with zero street experience. We see it every single day. And that's why people need to watch you, Mike. That's why people need to watch you, Dion, is because it's not just the book knowledge, but it's the experience and the day-to-day application of such that delivers the opinions that we give people that, again, are our opinions. There is not a channel out there that's been more right about what we talk about on the daily than us. There isn't. I know I've had to watch a ton of crap to figure that out.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's because they're either fully intellectual or only street, and they don't meld the two together. And that's
or they're fishing for ad revenue, which are the guys that drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, largely speaking, it's, again, I am very ready for that's going to shift, because what do you talk about when it's here, right? And the problem is that one of them actually is like, sounds to me like you owe Nick an apology.
I got that too.
I was like, 2 years ago? 2 years ago? I'm not apologizing to somebody that was 2 years early on something when I told you 30 days. Hey, listen, now's the time that you should be posting something to sell because prices have probably topped and rates are going to start accelerating quickly. And people could have done that and they would have made hundreds of thousands more on even a single transaction.
Yeah. So Dion, you run a CDL school, you have a nonprofit. Do you see 3/4 of GDP contracting? Are you seeing 10% GDP decline? Are you looking at 15% unemployment?
No. So normally over the road truck driving companies have to bribe you to take the job because you've gone so much it sucks. So they give you like a $2,000 to $5,000 sign-on bonus. Right now, I have a list of over 20 local truck driving companies that start out about $75,000 to $90,000 a year as the entry-level wage, that have $5,000 to $15,000 sign-on bonuses. And that's not enough to get attention of new drivers. So last night, so just like yesterday, 3 recruiters showed up at the same time. So we had a scheduling conflict, who brought ice cream, lunches, and pizza to try to get on the radar of people because companies are trying to grow but can't find people to work. Wow. There isn't a contraction going right now in the job placement that we do. So I'm with Matt. Yeah. We'll probably see a recession. These sudden shift in interest rates and the change in the market, yeah, we can see a short-term impact. But when we've seen, here's my concern, when we've seen a decade of assets gaining value and crypto doing its vertical pong and all of these new ways to invest, and real estate, just terrible deals, flips gone horribly wrong, having delays, profiting because prices went up so much over time that it ended up looking like a good deal.
Yeah.
That now, while there is interest rates impacting it, while there is buyer pullback, the channels that were screaming, don't take any action because the crash or the correction is coming, are now going to get even more views and still be telling people not to take action, when this is the most excited I've been about the next year of buying rental properties. And I think that's what we're going to compete with. Yeah, is more views to fear, because here are some pretty charts that show current numbers. And that's very frustrating.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned about it, economic depression, again, my crystal ball is broken as the next guy's, but the chances we have 3 years or 12 quarters of negative GDP are highly unlikely. The chance that we ever lose 10% of our GDP is highly unlikely. And the reason is it's really a step function of what Matt highlighted. We have the power and the control to flip this. And it's not Jerome Powell taking rates to zero and giving STEMI checks to everyone. It is open up the oil pipeline. It is incent manufacturing to come home. If Tesla can build automobiles in the United States profitably, we can build anything in the United States profitably. So it's just not happening. Will we have a hard landing? Pay attention to episode number 2, a depression, not likely. Please don't leave comments on my channel that a depression is coming. When I see those, all I can say is either, well, you don't want to know what I really think, because it's not a good look, but it's just, we are going to have a recession. It could be deep and dark, but 3 years, it's in our control. We can fix this. We can incent. And oh, by the way, we still have 2 job openings for every person that's unemployed. We still have 5% wage inflation. Yes, real estate is going to crash in transactions. The wealth effect of a collapsing stock market is going to be bad. Crypto and NFTs are going to shrink and some will go to zero. That's a good thing. Crashes, bear markets are great to clean out the system, because you get to see what idols are idiots. That is what's going to happen. Some of you right now put idols on the shelf and they're morons. We're going to find in the next 6 months who is an idol and who's a moron. I know where I put myself. Let's see where everybody else is. Matt, where can people find you?
First off, I'd like to tell Dion I'll be there Monday to get my ice cream and my pizza.
Yeah, I'm flying out.
Looking forward to becoming a truck driver. I'm ready. I got the beard. It's got to get me in somehow. So Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and on Instagram, and 3-hour live stream, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. where I act like this for 3 hours. So if that is enjoyable for you at all and feels like you got the chance to vent, come on over.
Popcorn ready. And Dion, you?
Well, Matt, the freezer's full. Like there was 3 recruiters at the same time with stuff. So come on over. And I'm impressed that you were a lot more calm in this video than you were before. I even kind of got ready for how bad I thought it was going to be. The sponsor of today's video is Alien Vodka, who doesn't sponsor the video, but they make it possible. To find me
Alien
here on
Vodka,
YouTube.
reach out. Let's get a sponsorship going.
Exactly. They should. It's like the 4th bottle in a month.
Yeah.
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. Live streams are on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Thanks, guys.